But my daddy was way on up in years before he was ever saved. And we went, I know Brenda remembers it, Miss Geraldine. When this church was first started, they didn't have this baptismal thing right here. We went to Purcell Shepherd's Pond. And we went out there to have a baptizing with Alden Williams, was the preacher then. My daddy was saved right there at that baptizing. And it wasn't but 2 or 3 years after that. He died. He was 57 years old when he died. But I would have never believed, and I had never seen anybody saved at a baptismal service. I had never seen it. The Lord works in mysterious ways, don't he? Amen. You take all these young people right here that's going to Honduras. I wonder what I'd do if the Lord tell me to go. What would you do if he tell you to go to Honduras? I say, Lord, you must have the wrong James Williams. They got to be somebody else. It ain't me. It takes a special person. And I commend all of you folks for going over there. And for the reason that you are going. Because if the Christian people, if they don't tell this world about the Lord, they ain't going to get it on TV. They're going to get it from us. And a lot of people are going to criticize you. I didn't. When I was first saved, I said, well, man, this is clear sailing from here on out. When I got to the church that night, this church, it was started in a little old multicolored building down in Verona. Got saved that morning now. Time I got there that night, the devil said, what are you going to do if he's going to call on you to prayer? You ain't no Christian. And I'll never forget what Alden Williams told me one time. He said, any time during your Christian walk, if the devil ain't trying you and trying to get under your skin, is because you're doing right exactly what he wants you to do. I've never heard anybody else tell me that but Alden Williams. I'll never forget it. But I think the more you try to do for the Lord, the more the devil jumps on top of you. If he can drive that wedge in, he'll keep right on driving it. And I've told the Sunday school class here, you miss one Sunday, the next Sunday will be a little easier. Next Sunday will be a little easier than that. First thing you know, you ain't even coming. Folks, I've been there. I've been down that road. And I fully believe if I hadn't fell down beside that truck, I believe I'd have been in a casket. I'd been over to John's funeral home. That's how strong he was dealing with me. If he hadn't have, why did Oliver Green say that he was dealing with a backslidden Christian? This is the last time the Lord's going to deal with you. He was talking to me. I got one more verse I want to read, and then I'm done. In verse number 13, it says, happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. The whole time I was backslidden is the most miserable time that I've ever had in my life. And when I fell down beside that old truck, it felt like there was a burden just lifted off of my shoulders. I can't put into words how I felt. But I know I'll never forget it. I want to read that one verse again. It says, happy is the man that findeth wisdom. Where does wisdom come from? It comes from God. And you talk to a lot of people, and don't take this the wrong way. I know there's a lot of things that you can do to sort of lengthen your days. You take these, a lot of people eat healthy. That ain't me and Buddy. We don't eat healthy. A lot of them exercise. That ain't me and him either. We rode scooters up there. And then say, well, the doctor's done so and so to lengthen your life. If that be the case, you need to ask Wayne Pierce that owns R&W. He went through a 12-hour surgery. Went all the way to Boston to do it. I don't know if they scraped his lungs or ever what they done. But that doctor gave him 12 months to live. That's been over 3 years ago. If that man ain't a walking miracle, what is it? It weren't them doctors. Wisdom comes from God. Where did those doctors get the wisdom to do that operation? You can go to all the schools you want to. If God don't give you the wisdom to understand it, it's just like pouring water out there on that deck. And I know there's some good Christian doctors, don't get me wrong. But a lot of that stuff that they do, the surgery and things, God give them the wisdom to do it. They didn't read a book like this right here. I can read stuff like that, don't understand it. God give them the wisdom to do it. A lot of these doctors perform surgeries and things and don't charge people for it. They got to be good Christian doctors. It ain't our politicians. That politician's walking around with his hand in my pocket. I don't like to get into politics, but I know our world's in a mess. But I don't care what goes on, God's still in control. A lot of times, and you might disagree with me on this, I'm going to say it anyway. I believe a lot of times the things that goes on is God chastening us for things that is going on. Just like my daddy used to tell me, when the sun shines, it shines on everybody, the good and the bad. We're going to have to endure some of it. You know, as all those apostles, they went through, look at the things that they went through before they died or crucified or what you want to live a martyr's death. You and I are going to have to go through some of that. You and I are going to have to go through some of it. But the God that you and I serve is going to give us the strength. Said he wouldn't put nothing on us that we couldn't bear. Yep, and I believe that. I'm going to read one more verse. I know you're getting tired of me being up here. I wasn't going to be up here but a few minutes. I'm going to read 2 verses. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. If you'll do that, then it says, for length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. You can lengthen your days. I wonder, are we? I wonder, am I? Am I doing things to lengthen the days that for me? Or you? That's all the Lord laid on my heart. I know you're getting tired of hearing me. We'll come up here around this altar if you want to.